What is going on, Nooner Nation? It's just me for right now. Had our guest tonight couldn't make it last minute. He still might pop in a little later. We'll see. But I figured, hey, we got this Zoom in thing figured out pretty well, so I could do get some guys zoomed in for a minute, right? Also could do some Q&A, you know, live Q&A with the live chat. So we'll see how this one goes. Should be a good time. My headphones are on backwards, so one second. So yeah, like I said, we'll make this a Zoom in show. Hoping to do call in soon. I just got to figure out a good burner phone system because I'm not going to give my personal cell phone to all you scumbags. But yeah, how's the audio sound? Hopefully, audio all sounds good for right now, and then yeah, we'll see what's going on. Interesting day today here in Iowa. It was like negative 14 with the wind chill. So cold that the steel doors at my work started actually like forming ice on the inside. Pretty fucking wild. But yeah, hopefully everybody else is having a decent week. I think weather's been pretty wild everywhere. Um, so see who we got going on here. Oh, we already got somebody calling in. So for everybody, if you want to zoom in, I've got the Zoom link in the description. So yeah, like if you look at the description of the YouTube video, the Zoom link is there. So yeah, we'll see who we've got here. Got Lloyd Burke. What's going on, man?
Not much. How are you?
Man, staying warm. Trying to, anyways. We also
Yeah, it's
have
pretty
we also
pretty
have a guy
cold.
named Jack entering the chat here. No video though, or audio, so we'll see how this one goes. Might have to boot Jack. Might have to boot Jack off. I said Jack off. Oh Lord. That is that's interesting. Bye Jack.
Watching here.
That was weird. Um it was some teenage kid with like a synthesizer or something dancing around in his room. Um Wild, but all right. Got the heart rate going at least. Got somebody on ecstasy in the on the show real early, huh?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the hell that was.
Yeah, that's fucking weird for sure. So, is it as cold where you're at as it is where I'm at, Lloyd?
I think it was well, it was 34 when I left work today.
Oh,
So
heat wave.
yeah, but it dumped like 3 inches of snow in like an hour and then stopped. Um, and I don't know, it was pretty bad this morning when I tried getting out of bed. My knees were all inflamed, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Had to take some drugs and then crawl back in bed for an hour and wait for them to kick in.
Yeah, yeah. Did you get back in the K hole, or are you off that stuff now?
I am done with the second round of K-hole treatment, so I finished that up last week on Thursday. Was my fourth treatment
Gotcha.
for that series on the second series.
Gotcha. How'd that go for you?
Good. The normal recurring pain is gone, but it doesn't do anything for the inflammation in my knees. So
Yeah. Well, I get that too. I'm still young, and cold weather still fucks me up. I have some sort of rheumatoid arthritis, A&A, that they haven't really diagnosed exactly what kind yet, but every once in a while it flares up, and my hands and my toes, like my fingers and toes, hurt real bad,
yeah,
especially cold weather. So I think the toe thing might be gout just from drinking, but who knows?
maybe. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so
I don't know. The doctor told me to quit drinking, and told him like shut his commie mouth. This is America.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Uh, I have to lie every time I go to the VA now because I can't tell them how much I actually drink
Oh yeah,
every night.
I have one or two a week, right? We'll circle that box
Yeah,
because
exactly.
If they do, they'd just be like, "Get the fuck out, man! Turn your life around." So, but who we got in the live chats? We got Miss Holly in here. C Hapes. C Hapes was the first in, followed by Titan Uranus. Which, by the way, Titan Uranus, you need to zoom in. Everybody's been asking for you and Womb Raider because you're the most intriguing guys in the live chat with arguably the best usernames and no social media. So you're like this enigma that all my listeners, and I mean just Drinking Bros listeners in general, are just like, who are these people? I know Womb Raider has like an entire Brady Bunch worth of kids, which is why he's called Womb Raider. I'm sure it's not Raider with a D, it's Rater. Like he gives a 5-star rating to wombs. So maybe he's a gynecologist.
He's what's called a teepee creeper.
A teepee creeper?
Yeah, we had this discussion in the live chat during a Drinking Bros episode, and went back and forth about it. But he's a second teepee creeper I've ever met.
What's a teepee creeper?
So when I went to college in Montana, there was a Native American guy. Try to use proper terminology here, but and he had like 10 or 12 kids, but 3 of them were all the same age, and they were all the same age, but they had different birthdays. And I was like, dude, how what the heck is going on? Like, can you explain this to me? I'm trying to process this in my head. Were you just playing? He's like, no, I lived with 3 women, and it was basically just a polyamorous relationship. So he had like 3 to 5 kids with 3 different women, but they all lived together.
That sounds like a fucking nightmare to me, but live your life.
Yeah, and so he called it teepee creeping, and I was like, all right, well, I guess it's not racist if it's your word. So
okay. So
I think womb is actually part Native American, if I remember right. But
yeah,
well, I suffer from CRS, so don't trust me.
Well, he needs to call in so we can figure this out. So we've also got somebody Davey said that Womb Raider and Titan Uranus is the DB Pro Wrestling Tag Team of the Year. I'd say that. We don't know. They might be 2 like really wiry guys, like me, or they might be like Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley from back in the day, or the Hardy Boys. So yeah, man, what's new with you? Is I'll be seeing you in person in Austin pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm flying down there next week on Thursday to visit my kids. They got a couple of special events, so I'm gonna jump on those. And then I got a meeting with Ross on the new studio Friday morning. They got a new plan they want to go with, so they're gonna be in the old studio for a little bit longer. Kind of got derailed with Ross being in the hospital.
Yeah. I figured.
So since I'm going down there already, he asked me to carve out some time with him to go over a new plan. So we're going to do that and Friday morning. And then when I get done with that, I'm going to drive down to Beth and Greg's and hang out with them Friday night. And then, come back drive back Saturday morning for a karate tournament with my little kid, my younger daughter, and then fly home Sunday, and then be home for like 10 or 12 days and fly down again for the Super Bowl party.
Yeah, it sounds like there's quite a few people coming to the Super Bowl party now. I saw, I think Jacob Nichols says he's gonna be there, which is cool. I've wanted to meet that guy. He actually, I think he lives in Texas, but he grew up like where I live now, like it's almost the same neighborhood, I think, in Des Moines. So that'd be cool. And then I think
I met him for the election show.
Did you? Okay, I think also I think Boston Joe and maybe Eric Tansey. I haven't gotten it from Tansey if he's coming or not. I know like his wife's going to be pretty close to the snap count on that baby by then, so I'm not sure what the deal is with that. But they're always a good time. I don't know if have you ever met them.
Not in person, no.
Yeah, they're fun.
Not that I remember, at least, but I didn't get that. I don't know. I met so many people
Yeah,
at the election show that I can't even remember, and I don't like big groups of people, anyways. Um,
yeah,
um, so I kind of hung out in the back during most of that show.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be last year's. I was there for last year's one, and it was in the studio. I mean, it got wild, but there was only. I mean, there was maybe 20 people there, which I
Yeah,
mean it seems like a lot in that studio, I guess, but at the same time, it's not that crazy. Where this time around, it sounds like there's going to be a pretty huge crowd. So I'm interested to see how this one's going to go. See if
well,
see if Lastro Lopez gets beer waterboarded again.
I thought the election show party was going to be um actually a lot bigger, and um I was worried about like being able to see, um having to wait, get in. I was worried it was going to be a thing where if you didn't get there early enough, you're going to have to wait for people to
Oh,
leave in order to
right.
get in, and you're going to have to stay there um the entire time. And there was probably, I would guess, 30 people, because I stayed across the street at the canopy and had a street view. So I was watching it the entire time. But there was probably 30 people waiting in line for it to open.
Yeah,
And I just kept watching it, and I walked down after. I didn't wait in line, but um,
yeah,
didn't seem to be a problem with getting in. So
right.
it would be different probably if it was an event on a Friday or a Saturday night, because the time I went down there and ended up down there with Yandel, that I don't remember most of, it was um, it was that way. There was a line formed up by like 10 or 11, and
Yeah,
you were waiting for people to leave so you could get in.
yeah, yeah. I don't know how it's going to be this year because I know we tried to after the Super Bowl ended last year. We were a group of us went downtown to for like Dan Holloway's birthday, and we were going to go um, to WTF, and they had closed for the night because they didn't have enough people, like enough customers there. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. You know, it's good either way. It's going to be a pretty wild ride for sure. I'm excited about it. I'm sure I'll probably go live like from our Instagram or something. So make sure you're following the Nooner Nation Instagram because there's probably going to be a lot of like drunken live videos. You know, so of Lloyd up on a table swinging his shirt around,
I, I doubt it. That time
motorboating
I
random strangers.
uh, well, Kragers won't be there for me to motorboat him, so
Yeah. Well,
that's
Craig.
maybe.
Yeah, Craig's in a live chat saying he's not a huge fan of the drink prices at WTF. Which
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I can see you. I don't go downtown in Boise because of the fact that I have to pay like $20 for a shot of Patron.
yeah, if it's a
Um,
bar, it's gonna be bar prices. So
yeah, when you're downtown with a venue like that, I'm sure the taxes are through the roof, and
oh
just
yeah,
everything that he has to deal with there is expensive. I mean, I'm sure I'm I don't know. I doubt he's getting rich. If he was, he'd probably have several
yeah,
WTFs all over Texas.
oh yeah, yeah. I think that's something everybody always thinks, right? When you're like, oh, it's $8 for a shot of whatever mid shelf, and then they're like, well, there's 20 shots in a bottle. They're making so much money. We should open a bar. What you're not thinking of is like all the taxes, the expenses, people stealing your glasses and shit. You know, it's
Yeah, exactly.
not. I've watched enough bar rescue to realize it's not an industry I want to be in.
I would love to. Actually, that's something me and my wife would
Oh
like to
yeah,
have, is
the bar.
our own bar. But um, not a downtown bar. I wouldn't want to deal with that
I can
shit.
see like
It would be so,
one of the on like a little bar on one of the random islands in the Keys or something. You know?
a little tiki hut
Yeah.
or a small Idaho or Montana town that it's, you know, a farmer and his wife come down and
Yeah.
have a couple of beers, play a couple of games of pool or darts just to socialize because the
Yep.
only thing they do 7 days a week is converse with their cows and horses and
Yep.
sheep and shit.
Yeah. The locals service the locals. That reminds me of when my brother graduated from Boston College or Boston University. Sorry, we rented like a really cool Airbnb like an hour north of Boston, like up on the water, and really small, kind of like a fishing town. And me and my brother went into like the local bar, and we walked in, and you immediately knew that we were probably the first new people they had seen in forever. We're like, I don't know if like we're welcome here. Like nobody would talk to us. The bartender was just kind of like, what do you guys want? We're like, well, what do you have? He's like, oh, we don't really have a menu, like a beer menu or anything, but I guess like it's just one of those places. The old hole in the wall. It's all local fishers coming in. They're all playing some weird like Keno video gambling game on the bar. It was weird,
Yeah.
but it'll be a good time. Lloyd, thanks for calling in. I'm gonna get to the next guy, but you have a good night.
Yep.
I saw somebody sneaking around behind you trying to steal your shit.
Yeah, that was the wife giving me some mail or something. I don't know. So,
Oh,
but anyways, I'll talk to you later.
yeah, man. Take it easy. Thanks for calling in.
You too.
Well, that was fun. Lloyd, good guy. He's kind of like the new contractor for the Drinking Bros or Tetherball Academy network. I think he's got a pretty big like I don't know if he's designing or contracting. He's very much involved in that new studio that they're building. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. And if anybody listening is gonna be in Austin on February 13th, for sure come down to WTF Ice House, I think it's called. You can Google it, you'll find it. It's downtown Austin. It's gonna be a good time. So let's see who else we got here. Oh shit, Davey, what's happening, man?
Hey, bud, how you doing?
Good. We got Davey Jacobson back on. We had you on a couple weeks ago, and you were convalescing with your parents out on the West
Uh,
Coast. So you back home?
yes, sir. I'm currently in Erie, Colorado, about 45 minutes north of Denver, and well, I'm currently in the man cave, or because I live in a renovated basement. But forgive the backdrop. The backdrop's one of the pro wrestling vixens.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and also I just realized that unsightly gnat trap is up there, and I completely forgot to take that thing down. Damn it.
Nah, no worries, man.
Yeah, but anyway.
It adds to the allure that is Davey Jacobson.
Yeah, well, I'm always trying to give the best image I can, and I tend to little details here and there tend to slip
Yeah.
every now and then. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's the weather like north of Colorado? I've heard from some people it's unseasonably warm right now.
Yeah, actually, well, it was unseasonably warm for December, but now it's right now we're finally back at normal temperatures. Right now here in Erie, it's about last time I checked, about 23 outside. So
Oh, it's I think
not
right
bad.
now I'm looking out my window, and I live in my house is built in 31, so
Nice.
I still got the slide up storm windows,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the storm windows looks frosted, like it looks because it's covered in ice. Because I think it's last on my way home at 4 o'clock this afternoon while the sun was still out, it was like
Mm-hmm.
-7 without the wind chill, so it's cold as shit. In fact, so much so that I had to run into the grocery store this morning, and it was so cold. Like I just was running out. And I'm wearing like I've got a thick ass parka for this kind of shit, and it's so cold. Like I'm running, I'm like trying to unlock my truck. My truck won't unlock. I'm like shit. So I like got the key in there, and I'm freezing. Like fuck. Like cold, and the wind's blowing. It's like 20-mile-an-hour winds. So
Let me
nothing.
guess.
It cuts through everything you're wearing, and
Mm,
So I finally like, why won't my truck unlock? I was like, is the door, like I'm pulling on the door handle real hard, thinking maybe it's frozen. Turns out in my, you know, frantic panic to get to my warm truck, I was trying to get into the wrong truck. I looked through the well. I was like, why won't this open? So I was looking like I looked in the window to see if it was unlocked, and I was like, what's that like? Like there was a coffee tumbler in the cup holder, but I didn't recognize it. It kind of took me a second. I was like, what? Oh fuck! I'm like breaking into somebody's truck right now. I drive a black Silverado. They're everywhere, man.
It's funny you say that. My dad told me a story back when he was a teenager. He had a '67 El Camino, and back in those days, they didn't make laser cut keys like they do today.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad and my uncle Billy, they come out from the market and they get in their car. Well, as they drive home, they're like, something just doesn't feel right about this thing, because they know where they parked their car. Well, what they didn't realize is that the car they pulled up next to was like same make, same model, same year, same paint color. And in those days, because their keys were not laser cut, they literally drove the wrong car home.
Oh,
and
shit.
Because my Uncle Billy exactly. And my Uncle Billy goes, something just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it normally would feel. But because my dad and my Uncle Billy, they like to, the cars that they worked on, the cars they had, they kept them as stock as they could because it was just easier to maintain.
Yeah.
But yeah, drove the wrong car home.
Oh shit. So I guess what do? You probably like got to go to the tag office or something. Call the tag office and see where it's registered to, or call the cops.
Well,
somebody's probably like looking for a stolen car. You're like, I accidentally stole this car.
Well, back in those days, actually, people were pretty good staying true to their word.
Yeah.
So my dad and my Uncle Billy, they drove back to the market where they had parked at, and the guy with their car was there waiting for him, knowing full well they'd come back.
Right.
But
yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, that'd be weird. I mean, I've gotten into cars like in the passenger seat before, thinking it was like the car I'm supposed to be in, and somebody's like, "Who are you?" And like, "Who are you?" The worst I've ever done though is like my mom's side of the family is all like from like an hour north of Indianapolis, like farmland. So 4-H is huge there, and I used to love going up there over the summers. And I think I was maybe I must have been like 20, maybe not old enough to drink legally yet, but I went to like the county fair tractor pull at the county fair is going on, which is a huge deal there. And I'm drinking like Jaeger bombs, and I use quotes because what I'm just doing is taking like a pull from the bottle of Jaeger and then a pull from a Red Bull can. I'm doing that all night, to the point where at one point I thought I was having a heart attack in the back of my uncle's truck. I was like, is this how it ends? Like a tractor pull in Tipton, Indiana. But anyways, we're partying all night kind of thing. And like my uncle, who's like my cousins, were showing sheep at this 4-H fair. And so they had like their camper there, and it's a big thing. Like there's a huge campground like every county fair. And my uncles were like, oh, like go water, like before we drink anymore, like, can you go water the sheep? Like, give the sheep water. And I was already pretty fucked up. I was like, sure. And we're like, oh, but be careful. Like, there's going to be cops walking around to make sure, like, you're not, like, there's a big problem. People, like, in the middle of the night, like, going and juicing up their sheep, like, giving them steroids. So I'm like, oh, fuck.
And dude, I can honestly say I never had those problems growing up in Southern California. No. Our only problems were, well, here's the thing: in Southern California, the only problems we ever had to grow up with was when it would rain. People's lack of driving ability would come through.
Yeah.
And I went to school in San Diego, and San Diego was kind of crazy only because where at San Diego State, where I went to school at, they literally, the main roads. I don't know why, whichever genius thought this was a good idea. They actually planted a major interstate right next to one of the little mini lakes, little ponds in the area, like right around near Qualcomm. Well, whenever it would rain really badly, that thing would flood into the highway.
Yeah.
So literally, yeah. That's all. I never had to worry about farm animals getting juiced.
So, well, anyway, so I go and like I'm get like go to the spigot. Like the 4-H barn is probably 300 yards away from the campground. Watering sheep. And all of a sudden, a flashlight in my face from I don't know, 50 feet away, like, hey, what are you doing? I look up. I don't like the flashlight is right in my face. So I don't know who it is, but my 20-year-old, booze addled mind is like, oh shit, the cops. So I just take off running back to just get back to the camper. I'm running. I find the camper. I'm like, oh, like how long was I gone? Like, because they had like a campfire going and stuff, and everybody's hanging outside the camper. I was like, I must have been gone for a while because like the campfire's not there. Everybody's inside. I open the door, run, and just jump on campers always have like the couch that folds down into the bed in the little living room area. Jump on that. Like, okay, I'll just act like I'm asleep. If cops come by, I'm like, no, I was here sleeping the whole time. 20 seconds later, somebody is shaking me like, excuse me, like, can I help you? And I look up, I was like, who is this person? I had gone to the wrong camper. I just run into somebody's camper and fell asleep on their couch. I was like, oh my God, I'm not supposed to be here. I didn't even like try to explain. I was just like, I'm in the wrong camper. I'm sorry. And just took off running. And then found like I through the campground and found my uncle's camper. And I was like, oh shit. Like, you won't believe what happened. They're like, well, you got back really fast. I was like, what do you mean fast? Like, you've only been gone for like 7 minutes, man. So
This sounds like something Dan talked about the other day on the show about Belushi, how Belushi got shit faced and walked into someone else's house.
oh yeah, I think Ross maybe was talking about that on the Blues Brothers set, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. At least
What's going on with you, dude?
not much. Just trying to stay warm for now. I said cold as shit for some reason. Ready for the football playoffs. Other than that, man, just saving money for the Austin trip for the Super Bowl because now that they've moved it to a bar downtown, it's going to be considerably more expensive to get wasted.
Yeah. I prepped for that, dude. I'll see you there, but I prepped for that one already.
Yeah, are you coming down?
I am. I booked my flight today.
Hell yeah, man. You already found your place to stay and stuff?
Yeah, I'll be up in North Austin on a friend's couch.
Oh, dope, man. That's a plus because I just got like a little Airbnb close-ish to the studio. Not as close as the last one, but
isn't the studio in a rough part of town?
it is. And my last Airbnb last year, I didn't realize it, but apparently like people would get stabbed and shit there constantly. I was just like drunk walking around, whatever. So this one's a little further north. It's like 10 minutes from the studio in a nicer neighborhood. But I know somebody who's coming down as well was trying to find a hotel close to WTF so they could just leave the party because they're leaving like early-ish on Monday. And I think all the hotels downtown were like $350 a night or something nuts for that weekend.
Well, I mean, for a weekend trip, I mean it's kind of expected. But I know that at least according to what I've heard, there's a hotel like right across the street from Whiskey Tango. So, I mean, I'd assume that'd be the first place to look. Okay.
Yeah, there is, and that's where this person's staying, I believe. So, but it'd be cool. We're probably gonna go pregame there before, save a little money.
Well, dude, say where. I'll bring whatever you guys tell me.
Yeah, definitely. We'll off air here. I'll DM you my cell number and get together. When you coming down?
I literally go to work on Friday, and then right when work ends, I go straight from work to the airport and then tailgate out. So I literally will land around 11:20
on
Friday night.
Friday night. Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
And how long are you in for?
I will be there Friday night and take off Monday afternoon towards the evening. I land back in Denver probably around 7 o'clock on Monday.
Cool.
And also, well, go ahead.
Oh, did you get a direct flight out of Denver?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
nice.
I already got the notification from my boss because I had to put my request for my time off. My boss sent me a message my boss, her name's Lauren. She's 40 and she's very nosy. And I already know for a fact she's going to give me this look tomorrow because she goes, why are you going to Austin on Valentine's Day? Who's down there? And I go, just a bunch of friends, a drunken family reunion. I'm already waiting for her to give me the look like tomorrow when I walk into work out of sheer disappointment because she's I told her just drunken family reunion and she's been at work for months. She's been trying to set me up with someone from her circle of friends. And I tell her it's cool. Don't worry about it. Cause I don't want to, that's too dangerous.
Yeah. And, you don't want to date your boss's friend. That's
exactly.
Even if she's hot. Like I know I know some people, not even like to that point, but I know people that have dated people like in the kind of the same like team at work.
Not good.
Well, it either turns out great or it turns out terrible, right?
The golden rule is the golden rule, don't shit where you eat,
Yeah.
don't dip your pen in the company ink.
Yeah.
Those rules are in place for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, it turns out really bad, so definitely don't do that.
Probably the highlight though is whenever it goes really, really bad, have your phone ready and have the camera set to record because something great's about to happen.
Oh yeah.
No, because I'm in Drinking Bro Still Single, and one of the members actually told a great story about how this one girl at office, how she was seeing this one guy, but she was making out with the warehouse guy, and so the guy that she was seeing jumped on the forklift and literally T-boned her car.
Oof.
With a forklift.
Yeah, that'd be good. Nowadays, I mean, that'd be like a viral TikTok video for sure.
Oh, and the thing is, everybody's begging for videos, and he said, unfortunately, because he has respect for both the warehouse guy and the guy in his office, that he kept his phone in his pocket, which is really disappointing because it was just real dumpster fire in real life.
Oh no, I'd immediately take a video, and somebody be like, "Are you really taking a video of this?" I'd be like, "For insurance purposes, obviously, right? To be on the record,
No other way.
Evidence, man. Yeah. So what else? What else is going on? Did you have a good time in California, despite obviously the typical California gripes, but probably not. There's worse places to spend a Christmas, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's always great seeing family. It's just my home state isn't exactly making me proud these days, and I mean, it is what it is. It just sucks, but it is what it is. Other than that, just rugby is currently. I'm like, as everybody knows, I'm a huge rugby fan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like. I'm going to Austin solely for you guys and for the Dream Bros family, but I'm not going for the Super Bowl. Americans. I hate to say it, but American sports, our sports are just they're not as exciting as other sports. And rugby and F1 lately are just rugby's always been my fix, but F1 lately has become like my other addiction.
Yeah, F1's making a huge resurgence too. A resurgence in America. There was a while back in the 90s, when Schumacher's time, it was big. And then
because at that time we had Mario Andretti. We had Mario Andretti and his son Michael. They're the reason why F1 had a spot in America. And then once they were done with the sport, then it kind of fizzled out. But also, I mean, F1, just the amount of money that F1 makes around the world is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, why doesn't America cash in on this? And it's a lot of it I think has to do with we don't have any American drivers. We have an American team. We have Haas as a racing team. They're the only American team. But both of their drivers are one's Finnish and the other one is I think German.
Yeah.
But there's no American drivers.
Yeah, there's that. It's also, I mean, it's a tough nut to crack. I mean, I know a decent amount about F1. I used to be a huge MotoGP guy.
Nice.
R.I.P. Nicky Hayden. Love you, bro.
Of course.
But yeah, like I think, and F1's the same way. Like, yeah, Haas has a team, but like, do they really? Unless you're a factory team, I mean, you're not doing shit in F1.
Well, the thing is with Haas, remember Tony Stewart's co-owner, and then you have like the actual guy. I can't think of the guy's name. I know he made his money in NASCAR, not Tony Stewart, but his partner, the guy whose last name is Haas. He's the owner of the team. But the thing is, I don't know what. Because they have the talent, but the problem though is I think they're overlooking the fine-tuned details of just what goes into making an F1 race car an F1 race car.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot little of experiences too, right? Like having an experienced engineering crew, pit crew.
Also and the finances to back it up.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no clue, really, what an F1 team costs per race has to be in the tens.
I'll give it to you this way. Before Williams Racing, they were a British team founded by Frank Williams. Before their team had to actually like go from being Williams Racing to like I think Williams Mercedes, or they had to partner with another outfit. Their annual operating budget by themselves was like 120 million pounds, and
Yeah,
so the
so,
pound is the
yeah,
pound's roughly about, I'd say a little
it's
over
about a
200
buck
million
30,
US.
buck 30 or something.
Yeah,
Last I looked, is it? Yeah,
something like that. But this is like back in 2019.
yeah,
But I know that Ferrari
yeah.
Ferrari has an operating budget of like 325 million American.
Oh yeah,
So we're talking hundreds of
yeah,
millions of an annual budget, but they're
yeah,
not producing results.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
it happens, man, sometimes. But it is exciting. You know, Austin has an F1 track.
they do.
Circuit of the Americas, right? COTA.
That's that's where the F1 Grand Prix happens every year.
Yeah, you gonna make a stop there while you're in town?
It, well, if I can get the right time off work, because it happens, I think I want to say July, I think is when it comes back to the U.S.
Oh,
But if I can get the time off work, and if tickets aren't sold out, because tickets for these events you literally will sell out
oh
like
yeah,
a year or so in
yeah,
advance.
and they're pricey.
So
I've looked at
if
going down there before, and it's not just. I mean, the ticket is. I mean, it's pricey, but it's what it is, you know. But that weekend, man, like luckily you have a friend in Austin. Like, good luck getting a hotel room for less than 400 a night within an hour drive of Austin. Right, it's
Oh,
insane.
dude, dude, honestly, alone, I'd say for that weekend alone, just to make sure you have like, if you have all your T's crossed and everything, it'd probably cost you about 2 to 3 grand just
Yeah,
just to have an enjoyable weekend.
yeah. I think I was gonna try to go. It might have been 2019. It was right, like it was the last one they had before all the COVID shit. And yeah, I think just for me to go, yeah, I think I budgeted like before food and stuff, just travel, hotel, tickets was going to be like $1,800 or something for the weekend. And I was just like flying in Friday, flying out Monday, like, and not, so it'd probably add on 3.5 days worth of like food, drinking, doing things. Once you're there, you're at an F1 race, you're going to have to buy like something, right?
Well,
And
not just that, but here's the thing that also depends on where you're if you're sitting in the grandstand, or if you have like a VIP ticket, which is
yeah,
you're
that,
watching from like an air conditioned room, with
right.
all the amenities. But
Yeah.
there's one of our nooners who actually knows more about F1 than any of us, and that's Joe Hanning.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's in the waiting room or not,
I don't
but
know.
if he's in the waiting room, buzz him in.
I've got his number though. Let me text Joe real quick. But yeah, it's I went to, but yeah, I was a big MotoGP guy, and for anybody that doesn't know what that is essentially Formula One on motorcycles. And when they were in Indianapolis for all those years, I went every year to that, and man, it is insane, the speeds and stuff, and it's nuts.
Wait, was it all Ducatis that would race, or was it Ducatis and Hondas and every other and Yamaha
At the
and every
time,
other
so
brand?
at that time, man, really pulling from the bank here because that was when Nicky Hayden was on Ducati.
Mm-hmm.
Who, by the way, like I said, like RIP. I got a chance to meet him years ago, and him and his brothers and stuff, and awesome
Dude was
guy,
fearless.
dude.
Dude was fearless.
Just awesome guy, awesome family, and it's one of the most tragic things in the world that the dude made a living riding a 400-pound piece of aluminum at 220 miles an hour, and some drunk French dude runs over him while he's out riding a bicycle and kills him. Nuts.
It's like the most anticlimactic way for a MotoGP rider to go out.
Yeah, insane. I've got a T-shirt. I've got an autographed T-shirt of his. I have shadow boxed in my office. So
nice.
Yeah, awesome. But I mean, the same thing. Like Schumacher, same way.
Oh, Michael Schumacher, dude.
A fucking tree.
Well,
he Bono'd. He Bono'd himself into a vegetable. He Bono'd himself into a Schivou.
He's still here's the thing. He's still alive. I mean, I don't know. I like his family. His family's done a really good job keeping him safe.
Mm-hmm.
His son is now Mick. His son is out racing in F1. I know that he finished this last season with Haas, but he kind of finished at the bottom of the pack. He's definitely not performing like his dad did. But I mean, it's kind of sad because Michael Schumacher, that guy put F1 on the map as far as I'm concerned. Because you hear the last name Schumacher, you know exactly the pedigree it comes from.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was saying. F1 in the 90s got popular in America because you had Andretti, but I think like you had Andretti as the American driver, But
Well, yeah, Mario
Schumacher
Andretti
was the name, right? Kind of like when, and everybody listening is probably going to tune out at this point, but we'll talk about it.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, but it's kind of like when Nicky Hayden went to MotoGP, Valentino Rossi was the guy to beat, right? And he's been the guy to beat for 2 decades. That guy finally fucking retired. He can go be like gay in Switzerland or whatever he wants to go do. But yeah.
Well, no, but wasn't Rossi like a descendant of like the famous like Martini Rossi Racing?
Possibly.
I thought he was.
Possibly.
I mean, if you come from, I'm
no matter where he came from, I would assume at this point he's probably made his own name for himself, right? Like he's transcended any sort of family name at that point, you know.
Well, the last name Rossi though, it does carry a lot of weight in the racing world. I will say that.
This is true.
But earlier though about Andretti though, because Mario Andretti was doing his thing in the 70s and 80s, like when he really had his most impactful years. His son Michael though came on late 80s up through the 90s. But Schumacher came around, I want to say like 89, I think is when Michael Schumacher made his F1 debut. Or at the time, it wasn't called F1, it was called the GP. Or I think it was called the GP. I can't remember the original name off the top of my head. I've only been watching F1 since 2009.
Like, who was that? Who was the German dude who got stuck in his car while it was burning down?
Oh, freaking Niki Lauda.
Niki Lauda.
But Niki Lauda wasn't German. Niki Lauda, he wasn't German. He was Austrian.
Yeah, German Junior. You know. He might at that point. He might have been born at a time when Austria was kind of Germany.
Well, it was 76s when Niki Lauda had his accident.
76. Okay, yeah. So no, Austria would have been back in Austrian hands at that point. You know, when he was born, unless he was, you know, in his late 30s, which I don't think he was. I actually enjoyed that movie with
Rush
Hemsworth. Yeah, I mean it wasn't a great movie. It was enjoyable.
Oh no, the crazy thing is like that movie, like it was mostly accurate because Niki Lauda did buy his way onto a pro team. He actually did pay for his own professional team for that first year, only because he knew he could race. Yeah.
Hey.
He actually had to bribe a pro team to let him race for him.
Hey, bet on yourself, you know. So Craig's in here saying people should know this F1 Indy history. I don't know if he's being serious or a smartass, but you're welcome. You're welcome to zoom in, Craig, and talk about it.
It's Krager's, dude. I take it either way. Krager's is the man. I love that guy.
Craig? Oh yeah, man. He I thought he mentioned he was coming down for the Super Bowl show, but I don't know if
I hope he is.
I mean, the guy's won the lottery.
I hope he is.
Why not? He's probably private jetting down. And but no,
So
when I asked to go back to a question earlier, when I asked about going to Circuit of the Americas, I meant like while you're in Austin in February, here in a couple of weeks, are you going to go to the track and like go to the gift shop or something? Do the tour?
If there's a chance that I can go tour the track, I might. But you know, I'm there on my friend's dime, and I kind of gotta, you know, it's their town. Take the. In case you can't tell, I'm using the quote unquote PC pronouns just to, you know, protect identity, so to speak.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
But just because I'm on their time, on their schedule.
Yeah.
But all I know it's gonna be a fun shit show all weekend.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm there until late Wednesday night, so I'm gonna be going ham in Austin. You know, so I think Monday I've already got planned out that Monday could be a hangover day.
Dude, just as long as I don't have to carry your ass back to your room over my shoulder, we're good.
Nah. It might have been an issue if we were in the studio, but now that's at a bar. I'll have fun, but at some point the budget's gonna run out, and but dude, I say that what's gonna end up happening is, since we're gonna be there for so long, at some point I'm just gonna say fuck it and just fireball shots for everyone. Let's go, you know.
Dude, you're a big boy. You can make your own decisions.
Yeah,
just you know, keep it.
I'm not a big boy.
Keep it in control. Well, bear in mind, you're talking to a retired frat guy, okay? And I've learned a few lessons from my days of, you know, my fun. But I mean, I will say for this weekend, I might bring out the frat boy again. We don't know.
Yeah, what frat were
Yeah.
you part of?
Well, are you in the land that doesn't exist known as Iowa?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay, then, well, my fraternity actually does exist out there. I was a DU. I was a Delta Upsilon
Okay.
at San Diego State. But Ames has a chapter, and so does Des Moines at University of Iowa. We have a chapter there as well. But yeah, the
Yeah.
guys out there, I mean, it's crazy because my 1 year when I worked for my fraternity's headquarters, I actually was the guy that had to shut down the Des Moines chapter because they got busted for indulging back before it was legalized.
Ah, come on. No, but
It wasn't my
the
wasn't my
Ames
call.
the Ames chapter, and I grew up in North Carolina. I've been in Iowa for since 2012, so this will be this summer will be 10 years. But the Iowa State and Ames used to have some huge party. I think it was, and Craig can attest to this, like
They
Vizsla or something like that. Visha maybe
uh Vista.
some something like that. And one of my first years here, it got like just so out of hand that I think there might have been like tear gas and rubber bullets involved, and the school finally said like no more. I think there is Greek life, but it's not the same
There,
anymore, kind of thing.
so when I was there, when I made my visit to Ames in 2007, I was actually there for Halloween, and I actually went out with a bunch of my fraternity alumni from that chapter. These are all guys like our age,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember like all night long they were telling me like, man, this is like everything's changed. They took me to this awesome like a dive bar / Irish pub kind of a place. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but they all said everything's changed. Like it's not the same anymore. Like things used to be place wall to wall packed with people, and it's just not the same. And around that time, I found that people were like universities were starting to change their ways about how much fun students could have.
Yeah, I think it's just there's so much liability involved anymore, you know.
Well, hey,
Which
they're young adults. They got to make their own decisions.
hey,
I say.
I'm with you on that one. But you know how does the litigious system now care about that shit? No, it's gonna be like I think
Helicopter parents, so to speak.
yeah, somebody man, was that it was Iowa City, so it's University of Iowa. Some it was a huge deal a couple years ago. Some kid left some frat party to walk back to his apartment in like
That's
-2 degree
yeah,
weather and froze to death or
froze.
something. And
No,
that
there's also there've been a few incidents like that. I used to be pretty knowledgeable of that topic. And Kragers, start your video, please, man. Come on. But it's
he's putting his nipple clamps
there he
on.
is.
Hang on.
Okay.
I pretty much told Amy to shut up, and now she's giving me that death stare, to which I may or may not survive tonight.
Dear God, dude. Golden rule. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, this is second marriage, so technically it's only for money this time, right?
Yeah.
Kidding.
Dude.
Why are you showing me?
Hey, Amy.
Anyway,
Hello.
but yeah.
So for
throwing
those
it
listening,
back
Craig
to,
Dulesky's just called in. He's a former Iowa native. Now lives in Connecticut, right? Is that where you're at?
No, Maryland,
Maryland.
but might as well be Connecticut with how much liberal bullshit's here. But anyway.
What are you up to tonight?
But we're not going politics here, though. But going back to your little FISA thing with Iowa State, it was like back in 2005, 2006. Like all those kids were like raging and all this shit because, well, it was like for finals. It's that like, oh hey, we just finished finals. Let's fucking rage. Let's rape and pillage and shit. Destroy Ames. Give it a new facelift. So they went a little too hard to where they canceled it for things like 6-7 years or something like that. They tried to bring it back, but it was so far gone to where it didn't have the same mojo as it did before, to where they were like, yeah, we're probably not going to ever do this ever again. And now with the current climate and culture, they're definitely not going to have that shit back.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, because
as an engineer,
sucks.
as an engineer, I work with a lot of people that went to Ames. I don't see that student body being that wild. But I don't know.
It's not.
Well, when there's nothing else to do in Iowa, besides maybe catching an Iowa Cubs game, a Buccaneers hockey game.
Go Bucks.
I mean, when there was arena football with Kurt Warner and all that, like when there was actually shit to do.
There you go, Craig.
Then maybe, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I see in the background there.
Go Bucks.
There's really not much to do besides maybe cow tipping,
which isn't real.
And then you might need Chris Farley. I mean, R.I.P. T's and peace to his family, of course. You know, maybe a moment of silence real quick for him.
Yeah.
All right. But there's nothing else to do really in Iowa. I mean, I just checked the little weather app, which honestly is probably wrong-ish. But where I used to live, it's -9 degrees. And then next week, like just the regular temperature without the windshield and shit. So I was like, should I catch my dad and his girlfriend just to make sure they're all right? I mean, he's a former combat Marine, so he's probably doing Gucci and shit. But like shit, like
yeah,
he's getting up there in age.
Yeah, it's been everybody I've talked to today. It's kind of been like, it's cold, but we're used to this. There was a day a couple years ago with the wind chill got to like -50, and I was at work and had to keep like every couple hours I'd bundle up, I'd run outside and start my car for like 15 minutes, just to make sure it's going to start at the end of the day.
The big difference between your guys' weather and the weather that I'm in is Colorado. It's a mile high, so naturally the air up here is a lot drier. You guys have to deal with like sea level humidity cold, and that's a new level of cold that kind of it cuts through, like you said earlier, Bill. It cuts through everything.
Oh well, yeah,
it's painful.
It's the wetness of it, and then the wind. Like when it's negative, even if it's not negative, it can be. There's been days where it's been like, cold, like 15 degrees, but with like a 15-mile-an-hour wind, and that just cuts through everything you're wearing.
It sucks. It sucks. I lived in Indiana for a year, northwest side of Indy, like right near 465. That was my first time ever experiencing real humidity, because growing up in SoCal, I lived near the beach.
Mm-hmm.
The salt in the air is what absorbs all the sticky part of the humidity.
Mm-hmm.
So I was spoiled. I didn't realize till then. This was like back in 2006, 2007. I didn't realize back then like how the rest of America lived. And I'd seen the humidity. It's like, dear God, you guys, that's a level of toughness I didn't know existed.
Yeah, apparently the humidity comes from the agriculture, like the corn and shit. From what I've been told.
So, Bill, would you rather deal with this cold or the bomb-ass hot heat in August and September? Well, July and August
every day.
In Iowa.
Heat every day.
Okay.
Heat every day.
I need cold. I'm a human space heater.
Ladies don't wear bikinis in -9, bro. I need heat.
Dude, I need cold weather just to
bounce. Maybe if Dan Bilzerian's there giving fake money away and being a cock.
You also have to remember that, like, I am very thin. Like, cold, I don't do well in cold.
Well,
no, that's just half of your British, like, coming out.
Yeah, Bill, I am Anglo. This is true. I'm half Anglo.
I'm pretty well insulated. You can't really tell, at least from this camera angle, but I'm pretty well insulated.
Dead giveaways. I'm thin. I'm pale. I have bad teeth. Dead giveaway for being English.
It hasn't made things any worse so far, dude. I mean, hello, you have a very beautiful wife.
Yeah, she's half Brazilian, so there
you go, dude.
That's the English in me trying to conquer another territory. I don't think they ever got to Brazil. I'm trying to expand the empire. You know what I'm saying,
dude?
Well, I think Columbus thought he was there, but then he's like, close enough.
Yeah, close enough. Man, Brazil's a lot smaller than I thought it was. I could walk across this bitch in a day. I own all you now.
Oh gosh, dude. There's a reason why the English are called the old enemy. There's a reason for that.
Oh yeah, one of these days I'm gonna get Gigi on here because she is Anglo, half Anglo as well, and we're just gonna rant about how England was and still is. It's insane. It is absolutely insane, and people want to, not to get political, people want to talk about racism in America racism in Europe is like an actual real noticeable thing. Right? Like somebody loses a soccer match to like a predominantly black soccer team and they're throwing bananas on the field and using the N-word.
I can't say I'm surprised it's soccer. Unlike soccer and rugby, we actually sit with our opponents. We drink with them after the match. You know,
wait, are you actually saying soccer as in soccer, Davey, or as in football?
Football.
Because I know they get really fucking pissed over there if you say soccer over there. I did it twice and I almost got kicked out of a bar.
Bear in mind, though, in America, we say soccer. And in Australia, they say soccer. In New Zealand, they say soccer.
Yeah.
Only in Europe and the rest of the world do they say football.
Well, I mean, Australia was a prison colony, so they're just going to be rebels either way.
Australia. I've been to Australia. I love the people there. I don't know what happened, but it is what it is.
I have a cousin whose boyfriend is Australian and was planning on moving here right before everything hit, and he's just like trapped. Like essentially he's like trying to become a refugee and escape Australia, which is just the most insane thing to me because growing up until very recently, like Australia was just like the land of insane people, right? Like when you thought of Australia, you thought of Crocodile Dundee, Aboriginals, and then people that would light the bar on fire for fun. Right? I don't know if you ever
until recently,
Go ahead.
Up until recently, I was.
Sheets? Did you ever see the show Three Sheets with Zane Lamprey? It's a good show.
Can't say I have.
Go Google it. People listening, go Google it. It's an old show. This guy would travel the world drinking. He went to Sydney. They literally lit the bar on fire.
Was that was that during the AFL Grand Final, the Australian Football League Grand Final, or the Australia's version of the Super Bowl?
I can't remember. This would have been 12, 13 years ago. So I don't know.
It may have been. It may have been then because 2010, around that time is when I got really into AFL or Aussie Rules footy, and Collingwood, the Collingwood Magpies, they're the most hated team in Australia. A lot of Australians refer to them as like the Dallas Cowboys of Australia because they're just hated. They're hated and they're only loved by Melbourne, which is their primary province, which is where they're based out of.
Gotcha.
But the Magpies, there's this one player who I thought was just one badass mofo. His name was Dane Swan. This dude was just tatted up, covered in sleeves, and the dude just went out there and just didn't give a fuck. He would just annihilate guys, and it was incredible. But the thing is, this is 2010. It's one of the only times ever in AFL and Australian football history where the grand final ended in a draw. And instead of going into overtime like we would here, they actually delayed overtime until a week later. And to this day, it's the most debated decision ever made in Australian sport.
Why did they do that? Just to let things settle down?
I honestly think it's because they'd never dealt with a draw in a grand final. And I mean, everybody was like saying, just let them play on, give them like an extra 5 minutes to play. But I guess the AFL officials, for whatever reason, decided, no, we'll wait. We'll let it resume like next Tuesday or something like that. And to this day, it's like one of the most hotly debated issues because it completely, obviously, it altered the course of the game. I mean, how are you going to freaking pick up a game from a week earlier?
Yeah, that's
but
tough.
Still, though, AFL though is a brutally fun sport to watch. I mean, you got to be insanely cardio fit, and I am nowhere near AFL cardio level. That's why I used to play rugby. But AFL, if you ever get a chance to watch some highlights online, dear God, dude, it'll open your eyes up to the wide world of sport. And that's why, I mean, I watch international sports more than I do our own.
Yeah. Speaking of sports, Craig, what's up with the Dolphins?
See, we like to fire black coaches.
Okay. There's a statement.
Yeah, because Brian Flores was the problem down in Miami, said, and not getting rid of Tua, but whatever.
I will send a Nooner Nation sticker to the first person to just isolate Craig saying we like to fire black coaches and post it online.
the Miami Dolphins, yeah. Well, honestly, Stephen Ross is a piece of shit owner. Like, I kind of wish the Dolphins were like the Packers, to where you can buy stock or some sort of ownership like Nico did with the Packers this season, just so that I can have like an ounce of say and tell Stephen Ross how much of a douchebag he is. and go like, yeah, let's fire the one coach who's actually doing stuff, but yet we need 2 or 3 offensive coordinators who don't do shit. I'd much rather have more down in Dallas. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't know clock management, or maybe that's just Dak Prescott's thing. But I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know, dude. And then Iowa, the Hawkeyes, they just like to screw the pooch. At least Iowa wrestling program's decent. Like that's the only thing that's holding up the university, honestly.
Hey,
I mean,
it's my neighbor.
What's up, guys? I gotta fix my audio.
We just let Joe in. It's about to get real European up in this bitch.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, dude. Nothing wrong
Or I
with
guess
that.
F1 would be more international than anything. Whoa.
F1 is global.
All right, is this on?
It is.
We got
Craig,
you.
you gonna stick around for F1 talk? Or are you bouncing out? You look like you're
I'm about to bounce out, but
Aw.
Ruben asked for a Dakota shot.
Dakota
So,
shout
here she
out?
is.
Oh, that Dakota. I was about
Aw.
to say Dakota shout out. Work harder.
No,
It's not that
not
hard.
the doctor. Nah. He's busy like doing something or like preparing to lose to Giorgio or some shit. So
Yeah, I think Giorgio's got the squirrel tactics in that. I think Giorgio in a Brazilian jiu-jitsu match is like a ferret on crystal meth. Right? He's just gonna like spin around you until you're so confused you don't know which way is up, and then he takes you down.
I'd crush Giorgio. I wrestled heavyweight in high school. I'd crush him.
Well,
I'd fall on top of him.
We're gonna be in Austin. We can make this happen.
Well, give me a pair of shoes and a rubber mat. We can make something happen.
Heard it here, folk.
there you go. I'm
See-
up and
See you,
All right,
Craig.
brother.
See you, Craig. Well, you
Later.
heard it here first, folks, that Davey Jacobson is challenging Papa Giorgio to
Hey,
a wrestling
I'll
match,
grab-
or to a.
I'll-
are we
I'll
talking
wrestle.
wrestling? We're talking jiu-jitsu.
I can do well. I used to train jiu-jitsu until my gym closed. So I mean, but Giorgio would probably whoop my ass in a jiu-jitsu match just because he has a higher belt than I do. I mean, I could probably hang with him wrestling wise. Well, because of our weight differential. Because he's not as big as I am. I could hang with him wrestling wise. Yeah.
Well, cool. So we got Joe Hanning hopping on. We've had Joe on before for our Veterans Day show, which I
Been a
believe
while.
what I titled. I'm trying to think. I was really proud of that title. It was For God and Country and the Free Blue.
Maybe it was something like that, yeah.
Yeah. What's going on, Joe?
Not much. We were watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. I didn't even realize I forgot you guys were on. Sorry. And then I was informed by multiple people that I was being requested and required to be on the show. So
We want some.
I had to be quick.
We want some F1 history, Joe. That's what we want.
F1 history. All right. Well, I want
Hey,
to.
Joe,
I
does
want to start by
does
saying,
that microphone come any closer to your mouth? You're a little low.
yeah, my fucking coworker was bitching about that too. My Xbox headphone, I kind of rage quit destroyed them the other night doing semi. And, they're all broken to shit, so I had to dig up this old school friggin' thing out. If you can hear me or not, I'll just like.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
So yeah, I destroyed those, and yeah, I'm sure we've all. I mean, most guys that are gamers probably know that you rage quit and destroy shit from time to time. So
I yell fuck. I just yell fuck a lot whenever I get my ass kicked on Call of Duty.
I destroy shit, and it goes back to when I was, 6 and I had my first Nintendo, and I would smash the controllers.
Hate
See,
losing.
I just use like the people I know in high levels of power to trace whatever 14-year-old just beat me in something, trace their IP, and then I go and bang their mom.
Nuke Master 69.
Yeah, Dude Master. What was that? Is that
Gosh.
Thor? Is that the
Yeah.
Thor thing? Yeah.
Davey got it.
I did. Well, dude, bear in mind, dude. Joe, we work in the same industry.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned. I know I'm on the tail end of you were wrestling because you're a much bigger guy. I wrestled too in 130 weight class until I broke the shell on my arm, and my parents wouldn't let me wrestle anymore.
Dude, I didn't qualify for state, but in my regional, that would have qualified me for the semifinal to go to state. I was wrestling this one guy, and all he did was just Grammy roll, and then finally he Grammy rolled right on my knee and just I heard a pop right on my knee, and that's when I knew I was done. Yeah, that was senior year too to boot, which
Yeah.
just ruined it. But yeah, it is
Yeah,
what
I'm
it
not a
is.
big guy, and in high school I was even smaller. And so my second or third year wrestling, the coach put me in with all the new guys that they didn't know anything, but they were way bigger than me. And this one kid, and he was so much bigger than me.
Dude,
And he just picked me up like he thought it was WWE and just fucking dropped me in the ground. And now I got this freaking scar all the way around my shoulder from breaking the ball up in the side.
oh dear God, dude, that sucks. I mean, it's at jiu-jitsu, like when I just started, they had me with this guy who was like 6'4", 6'5". He was like some 19-year-old kid who was playing football at a local junior college. We're grappling. He has my back, and he's trying to put me in a rear naked chokehold. Well, I figured out how to counter. So as I'm sliding out of it, instead of RNCing my neck, he RNCs my forward and just cranks right back on my neck, and re-aggravated an old rugby injury. And literally so for about a good solid 2 days, I was moving around stiff-necked. Like I couldn't turn or anything just because my neck. It's when I was playing rugby, we were playing Colorado State one year in a pre-match warm-up, and in the scrum, the entire pack weight shifted, so my head went this way, and the entire pack went that way, and yeah, so. But if the pack had gone about a few inches further, I'd be quadriplegic probably.
Well, I'm glad that didn't happen, dude.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Sorry,
Very
drag
happy.
it. I knew we were supposed to be talking about F1, but I heard that.
We can talk about whatever we want. Okay.
Well, dude, F1 history, man. Hey, so Joe is the F1 encyclopedia of the Nooners. He is, and whatever he says is pretty much law.
All right.
Which, by the way, if you're listening, F1 is Formula One racing. It's like NASCAR, but with no fenders.
It's real racing.
And left.
It's real racing.
And they turn both directions. And
yeah,
if you qualify in the pole, you probably win.
Well, not always. Not always.
Recently, yes, it used to not be that way, but lately, well.
So before you get into the history of this, what was your opinion of the KERS system?
I actually like the KERS. It's IndyCar was doing this before F1 did it. They call it push to pass, and it was a different. It wasn't really KERS. It wasn't really energy recovery system. It was basically a boost power. And the engine man. I'm gonna geek out right now. You guys ready for this?
I'm listening.
This really came from the Indy manufacturers because a lot of the Indy manufacturers pushed this technology to road cars. So they wanted something that took something that was applicable to road cars that they could sell. And this goes back to NASCAR. This goes back to the 50s. Win on Sunday, sell on Monday. And so they wanted something that they could say, and aside from like your high-end manufacturers like Porsches and McLarens or whatever, you don't really have a push-to-pass button in your car, but it gave them the ability to say, hey, we're going to develop this technology that allows you to have a storage of energy that's regenerated from your own car. So you brake, and as you're braking, you're generating and storing energy that can directly go back into 100 horsepower boost when you need it. I think it's a cool idea. There's other issues that I have with F1, but the KERS I really like.
So here's my question for you, Joe, and I want to know this: how long until America finally gets a driver we can call our own?
Oh God,
who can? Yeah, how long? Because we've been waiting since Andretti and Unser.
Yeah, Michael and Mario have been pushing to get Marco into F1 for a long time, and it just hasn't happened. And I don't know if Marco just didn't have the ability or the desire. And then we had Rossi. I thought Rossi had a good shot. And he keeps getting test shots, and I think he's an exceptional driver, and he's an amazing motorcyclist. F1 in the last 10, 12, 13 years has become so money driven. You've got great drivers like Piastri that just won the F2 championship, and previously that he won the F3 championship, and he doesn't have a ride because he's not made of money. And meanwhile, they're bringing in, and I'm, nothing against the Chinese kid who just got signed, but I mean, he's not as good as Piastri, and he got signed at the F1 drive just because he's made of money. And they want to put money into that Chinese. And it helps with the new Netflix Drive to Survive series. It's brought a lot of new American viewership in. I think based on Netflix, and we've got a new race in Miami coming next year, we could definitely have hopefully someone fast tracking Americans get back in that, because you're right, it hasn't been since, I don't think, Scott Speed was, despite having an amazing last name, was the last American, I think, to drive in F1.
And it sucks too, because it's like I often correlate a lot of things back to rugby, because rugby's like that. It's outside of America, rugby and F1 are like, they're globally dominating sports. But yet people in America do not know that, because I mean, most of the time we're so focused inward on our own sports that we really don't look at the wide world of sports beyond it.
Right.
And it's one of those. I mean, when I was working at USA Rugby, that was my biggest beef, because of the fact I feel like, I mean, Joe Rogan is a rugby fan, but not many people know that.
Right.
And he talks about it on a show too. But yeah, it's one of those things that I just wish more than anything we could just find that perfect time to strike the iron when it's hot. I mean, I know it gets hot every year when coming to Austin. You know, I know that was a huge help, but still, when you have sponsors like Rolex and you have like all these major money sponsors, it's like the only way really to get into F1 is, like you said, you got to have that money.
Yeah.
Are there any Earnhardt kids out there that need go open wheel? Get America involved real quick.
Yeah, I mean, the Earnhardt, I mean, they are exceptional racers. I've always been.
Actually, if you want America involved in Formula One, you need a Japanese race car driver to assault out of nowhere an American race car driver, and then we'll get into Formula One.
So you're basically describing the plot of Talladega Nights, but with a Japanese guy.
Yeah, not a gay Frenchman.
Yeah.
A Japanese man.
Can he be gay?
I mean, aren't they
it's
all?
Well, in Japanese culture, it's frowned upon heavily. Still.
But yeah, we've got, like Earnhardt Jr. is, he's a great road racer. And he's done a bunch of seat swaps. Back when they were doing the swaps with, I think it was way back to the 50s, farms ago, Montoya. They had the swaps back and forth, and he did great in that one car. And those guys, I've never been a huge NASCAR fan, but those guys are fucking good. And people give them a lot of shit and say that they just drive in circles, but it takes a lot to drive in circles. It's 200 miles an hour, and a lot of F1 fans that they're either new fans or old. I've seen people that have been F1 fans for 20 years. They shit on NASCAR. I'm like, you've never driven on track, and I've driven on track. I've done a lot of track days. I used to instruct. It's hard, and driving in circles on a banking when you're nose to tail is not easy. That's a real fucking pucker moment, And I wish that a lot of these guys, they were the elitist road course fans, would stop giving them so much shit.
What's the incline on a NASCAR track? Is like a 40-degree incline that they're racing on?
It's 30.
Depends on the
It's
track, but
35, 37. Some of them. The shorter ovals are more. The bigger ovals are.
Because I was in Las Vegas when I'm gonna kick myself for forgetting the guy's name. But IndyCar tried to do the Vegas Motor Speedway, and Vegas has super steep banking, and the guy is so steep the guys wouldn't let off the gas, and one of the drivers went in full throttle. I think they said he went into so it would have been like NASCAR turn 1 at like 215, and lost control and went into the gate, the catch gate, and burned himself up.
Is this at Indy?
No, this would have been. It was an IndyCar race, but it was at
Vegas.
It was at the Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I remember that one. Yeah.
And I think it was the same. I think it was like the same guy that like the day before had said that the banking on that track was making it really dangerous. And then that race, everybody went into this turn at full speed. Like I think it was even like lap 4 or something. It was really early in the race, and they all just came unglued and started hitting the gates, and it looked like fireflies on the gate.
Send it.
I can't remember that guy's name because I went into he was a Tissot watch, representative. He was sponsored by Tissot, and I went into a Tissot watch place in Vegas, like a couple of days after that, and he had signed like a watch, like a box of the watch.
Who's your watcher?
And they had it on display. And I was like, "Are you guys ever going to sell that?" They're like, "Yeah, probably not." But yeah,
I
it's
will
Yeah,
say
they
no. The Indy at Indy, turn one. I know at least for at the Indy at whenever you have Indy racing at Indy, turn one is like considered the most deadly because you just what is it, Joe? You can't see around that bend entirely.
It's almost a blind apex. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not quite a blind apex, but you're banking and entering because
your braking point. By the time
Yeah.
when you're braking, you can't see into the turn. I've spent a
Well,
lot of time at the Indy Motor Speedway.
yeah, the oval. I mean, it's a 2.5 mile oval. So I mean, you've got a long straight and then to 90 degrees that you've got to cut, and you've got to deal with traffic. You've got to look towards your apex. You've got to look at your track out, and you've got to make sure that you're not going to drift in. And when they ran F1 at Indy, they were at reverse, and they used that banking. Turn one banking is the penultimate turn of the course. And I mean, people are watching because they're watching Indy. I think it was 2003, 2004, 2005. The Michelin tires were not holding up to that bank.
And wasn't it only like 5 or 6 cars actually raced?
And it was this is back when they had 2 tire manufacturers, Michelin and Bridgestone. And my memory is failing me. I can't remember which tire manufacturer it was, but one of those tire manufacturers was not holding up to the bank, and they kept blowing out, and there was a safety issue. So we ended up with a race, and I was there. We had planned to go to the race, and we had showed up on Saturday for quali and Friday for practice, and then we just decided, that day to just hang out at my uncle's house and watch him on TV.
It was Michelin.
It was Michelin, yeah. And then all the Michelin runners said, nope, we're not running. And the Bridgestone runners decided to run. So we had this farce of a race where we had the 2 Ferraris and like 3 other cars run the race. I was so glad I hadn't bought tickets to the race.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with that, but that's very reminiscent. The Michelin Bridgestone thing was a big thing in MotoGP, like in the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
But with that, guys, we could sit here and talk about F1 all night. But it's been fun.
Sorry,
we'll definitely do a.
I will go on forever about F1.
No,
sorry.
we need to.
Samesies.
When's I guess is the season? When's
March?
March. Yeah, we'll definitely do an F1 show for sure.
Yeah, we'll start having car reveals next month, and then
okay. Yeah, I know that scheduled before the first race, or maybe maybe we do like a fun Monaco Grand Prix race. We suit up, we put on suit jackets and get all nice.
Yeah.
Or
we got Monaco and Indy the same weekend.
Right. And also if for Monaco, if we're gonna do Monaco, we have to have a little yacht somewhere in the background just to make it official.
Yeah.
Because you can't have Monaco without the yachts.
Yeah.
Yeah. You draw me. I'm trying to wrap this up. But
no, Davey and I we'll just keep dragging you out, man.
My brother's college roommate, who he's still best friends with, is a first mate on like a super yacht out of Fort Lauderdale, and he's been to like Monaco several times on this yacht. And he said the first time he went was a couple years ago, and I think at the time he wasn't first mate. He was like a head chef. He's like a culinary trained guy who just started working on yachts. And they went to Monaco, and like they docked, and he came into his room, and his cash per diem for their like 3 days in Monaco was laid down on his bed, and it was like $40,000 in cash.
Yeah.
And he's like, hell yeah. And like his girlfriend worked on the boat, who's now his fiance. They're like, we're going to go out to Monaco. We're going to get like an awesome dinner. He said this awesome dinner for the 2 of them in Monaco was like $8,000. And they said,
when you said $40,000, I'm like, that's
going
to last you like a day.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the head chef on a super yacht. I think we'll just eat on the yacht from now on, and I'll pocket the rest of this cash.
Oh, dude. Remember, it's Daniel Ricciardo said it best, and I think it was on Drive to Survive on Netflix. He said, Monaco is a lot of cool shit crammed into like 5 miles or 10 square miles of land.
Yeah,
it's like
a lot of money.
Yeah.
But he is right, though.
But cool. But we're going to get out of here on that one. Thanks for joining us, guys. It was a fun night. I had a really cool guest. I mean, I had some cool guests on tonight, so not an issue. The guests I had scheduled for tonight hopefully will be on next week. But yeah, thanks again for joining us. We had Lloyd call in. That was awesome. Or else I was gonna have to sit here and talk to myself for an hour, which I'll clearly do, but you don't want to listen to it. And then yeah, Davey. We had Craig, Joe. Thanks for calling in, guys. And at this point, you know the drill. You know the drill. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit the little bell so you know what's happening. I've got some free time coming up, so there might be some surprise extra content coming out here soon. Some extra live shows. And,
F1 predictions. F1 predictions.
We can maybe do that. Like I said,
Hamilton retires.
Yeah. I've got to get yeah, Dave, I gotta get your number after this.
I'll DM it to you.
Yeah. And
yes,
then,
sir.
Yep. Go out to iTunes, rate and review. I don't care. Leave a funny review. Talk about whatever you want. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining us.